afternoon, everyone, and Niharika ma'am. Today, we have Niharika Sondhi, the founder and director of EdNet Consultants Private Limited. Niharika Sondhi has been working as an educational consultant in New Delhi for the past 20 years. Over this long span of time, she has personally mentored students in securing admission to some of the world's most eminent institutions. With her rich knowledge of the higher education systems in the US, Europe, Singapore, Australia, as well as India, she is known for her remarkable ability to gauge students' interests and inclinations for providing the right advice on which course and university one should apply to. In addition, her expertise also lies in building strong student profiles and portfolios based on what admission committees are looking for. In the large pool of applicants, she has played a prominent role in shaping successful academic and professional paths for thousands of students. Besides guiding high school students to find the best fit for college or for undergrad studies, she also helps many students to get into MBA and master's programs in top-notch universities, including NYU, UCL, LSE, Columbia, Oxford, and many more. And today also, she's here to guide and help all of us to prepare for our future paths and talk about when to apply for masters, what is the cost involved, should you apply for a master's with or without prior experience, and which disciplines you should choose, which country would be the best suited, scholarship opportunities, and for seeking all such answers, Niharika ma'am is here to give the perfect advice. And we are sure that with your insights, we'll be able to choose the right decision. So, ma'am, we welcome you and over to you now.
Thank you so much, Gopal, for the introduction. That was very, very informative about EdNet Consultants. With that, actually, I would like to also add a few more information about EdNet and me as a managing director of EdNet. Like you said rightfully, it's been 20 years since I've been involved in expanding and evolving education, counseling services, national and international students across all age brackets, As a hands-on counselor, I've actually visited over 400 universities all over the world. And I have personally counseled more than, I think, maybe 15,000 during my tenure. And in light of this, establishing robust connections as well as gauging campus communities to provide this customized as well as this comprehensive services to my students, I've also assisted them with their personality development and building the right choices for their future careers. I'm also working very closely with the embassies all over the world, including the American Embassy. I was awarded the Best Education Counselor in Delhi NCR by the International Excellence Award in 2018. But I think what is very, very important is that the opportunity that it provides to the students in developing and evolving their skill sets with a global outlook, which is rooted in experimental learning and positive changes. My outreach in this regard includes holding classes, workshops, guidance for enhancing skills in writing, how to write a resume, as simple as that, standardized tests, SATs, GMAT, GRE, etc. This ensures that the students are prepared to take over the university level education, which is also accompanied with a lot of challenges. Additionally, I think it's very important to learn a little bit of creative stuff such as social media marketing, digital proficiency, learn a little bit of Photoshop, Excel, Canva, Procreate, and as well as interview skills. What I would like to share with you all today is a matter of pride for me that we believe in empowering our students. And that, I believe, can only be done through research and data analysis skills that helps them to achieve this stellar international academic experiences. I have recently established ERIL, EdNet Research Initiative for Advanced Learning, in May 2020, in fact, during the pandemic. And this incredible platform actually provides a launching pad to both the high school students, undergraduate students, as well as the master's students for conducting research in their fields of interest, connecting them with eminent professors, intellectuals, and academic community members all across the globe. I'm very thrilled to launch our EdNet Aerial Research Fellowship 2.0, a space for you to engage and learn the fundamentals of research writing, thinking processes, and publishing. Also being involved in publishing over a period, say about 3 months to 12 weeks. And we're just going to be conducting our workshop, the masterclass on the introduction to research, this coming Saturday, which is on the 16th at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It's an interactive session and talks about the fundamentals of research writing, critical thinking, and its impact, giving you a glimpse of what our Aerial Fellowship 2.0 consists of. And this is free. You don't have to pay anything for it. I just want you all to understand the role of research at the master's level. So if you can join this session, that would be fantastic. And you can register now because unfortunately, we do have very limited seats. With my extensive experience in the education industry, I've also established the EdNet Art School, and anyone who wants to do switching between the traditional courses that you're studying to something more creative, remember something, you can never have your back against the wall. There's always a step forward. I'm also conducting a lot of career building and profile building workshops and webinars for the students, which would actually help them to explore and understand for themselves as to which area they want to master in at the masters. This is a very good way of moving forward. And as you know, that I've conducted many presentations for high school students as well as college, and with JMC being my favorite, since I am an alum of JMC and I graduated from JMC in I think it was 1983. I think it was 1983, and I make it a point whenever possible to come to GMC and address the students of GMC as to how to take their career forward. So having said that, I'm going to go to the session, and the session basically talks about is masters the right choice for you? And we do have a panelist which we will work on later, but right now I would talk more about the masters. I think there could be some students who could be asking some questions on this. Okay, let me start with the masters, since I'm sure a lot of y'all would like to know a lot. I think someone just raised their hand. Yes, would you like to ask your question? Sakshi. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, could you be a little louder? I really can't hear you.
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
Good, thank you, thank you.
Ma'am, I just had a question. I completed my graduation over like 2 years back, and I want to do masters now. So, I mean, I just wanted to know, when is the right time to do a master's degree? When can I start? Do I still have time to start with the preparation and all of those things for masters?
Of course. So when we talk about the masters, everyone does the undergraduate, and it's the mindset in India that let's do the undergraduate and we'll think about a career in the masters. Well, yes, actually masters is not an extension of your undergraduate education in a way it is, because it's an area of specialization. But in this, we need to understand that in this competitive market, higher education is one of the most crucial determinants for a successful career. For instance, having a master's degree not only increases your professional worth, but also makes you eligible for senior level positions. Now, when we talk about senior level positions, doesn't mean that you do a master's and boom, you get a senior position with no experience whatsoever. No, it is undergraduate plus experience plus master's that takes you into a senior role. However, anyone aspiring to pursue higher education knows how challenging it is to choose a specific course or a specialized field. So if you want to develop any kind of mastery of any particular field or any subject, then I suggest, in order to gain your skills and knowledge, to an area which you are sure about wanting to study to take it forward, please go for a master's. But if you're not sure, take your time. Master's covers all individual specialization, which could be ranging from humanities and natural sciences to data sciences and business analytics. So once you have shortlisted the course that you would like to study and which would enhance your skills and take you towards your long-term goal in that particular role, industry, or designation, then go for a master's. The second factor that influences your decision are your own expectations of the postgraduate program. So you need to figure out what you want to do with this degree. What are the skills that you want to gain? What is the knowledge that you need to gain, which will take you towards the next phase of your career and your long-term plans? I hope I was able to answer that question. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Good. So another one, anyone else has a question?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. I had a question and I wanted to know basically, is work experience a necessity or a requirement to do a master's degree?
Work experience is not a requirement, is to do a master's. But if you have work experience, then it will help you to identify which is the area of specialization that you would like to go for at your master's. If this understanding is something that you have already gained at your undergraduate learning, then there's no problem. You can go for your master's as an area of specialization. Suppose you've done something in finance and you're passionate about finance, and now you want to do something in master's, maybe in private equity or investment, please go ahead. But in case you're not sure and you want to take some time to find out what you really want to study, then work experience is a good idea. Also, if you do some internships while you are doing your undergraduate program, will give you, will be a good yardstick. It will help you to identify where your interest lies. So you could have internship experiences which determines your interest, or if you're not being able to have the relevant work experiences, then it's a good idea to take some time out, go into the real world, get some experiences, understand what you really want to do, and then take yourself forward with a master's degree. So the question is, it's not mandatory, but I would say it's a good idea to have some work experience, unless you have enough internship experiences which has determined your area of interest. Thank you, Samra. So, anyone has any other questions?
Hi, good afternoon, ma'am. I have a question. Good afternoon, ma'am. I have a question. Yes.
Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, as an economics, business, and mathematics student, I wanted to know what are the options that are available for me for masters and MBA as well.
Just hold on. You said business, economics, and marketing. So are you studying all these three subjects together?
Yes, ma'am. Business, marketing, economics, and mathematics are the combination of subjects that I'm studying together.
Oh, interesting. Okay, fine. So let me tell you, as you know, the COVID has brought about a lot of changes. You must have heard about 4.0 revolution and the impact on the students, on the way we are studying, the way we are learning, online, hybrid courses, etc. But yes, technology has really taken us far. And when we're studying, say, let's say we're studying business. So what are the areas of specialization that we can do under the field of business? We can, if you have done, say, finance, or you're strong in numbers, you can think about, I mean, if you've done finance and you're strong in numbers, you can think about going in an area of finance. You can go into the area of sales, marketing, entrepreneurship, leadership, supply chain management, logistics, international business. So these are all the areas that you can study in the field of business. The second is when we talk about marketing, right? Marketing is also something that you can go towards branding, you can go towards digital social media, or you can also study, you must study algorithms though, which will help you to understand the nuances of marketing in the various social media platforms. You can also switch to something like analytics. Now, you all must have heard the word analytics a lot from, that's the buzzing word right now. So when we talk about analytics, I want to ask you all, what does analytics mean? Analytics is actually the study of big data. Every industry, whether you could be a psychology student, a business student, or an economics student, everyone is working on big data to make informed business decisions. So and what does analytics take? It is a combination of quant, that is mathematics, with technology, that could be basic Python, data structure, Tableau, SQL, R, regression, etc. So if you're strong and if you really want to take yourself forward with a strong integration of technology with any of these disciplines, which could be business, could be marketing, could be finance, then it's a good idea to study analytics and combine the two. Yeah. But if you're not strong in numbers and you're not very fond of technology, then you can of course go in for those traditional courses. Students who are studying from economics background also can move towards the field of management. So they can study something like masters in management, international and business management, management with marketing, or international business economics. Economics students are very, very strong in numbers, quants. They have good knowledge of statistics, also exposed to the areas of R, regression, and they can really think about going to areas like finance and economics. They can also go into financial economics. They can go into money and banking. They can go into economics and operational research, or just simply economics. So when you look at economics as a subject, I find that it is a more sought out liberal art curriculum because it takes you everywhere. It can take you into the areas of finance, it can take you in the areas of management, it can take you in the areas of operations, or any other areas of specializations, even under the field of business. A student who's done mathematics, yes. Now, a lot of students think about going for mathematics straight after class 12, maybe because they've done really well in math, they've been passionate about math, or just been able to, meet the cutoff of math honors, After doing that, they might just realize it's not exactly what I want to do. I mean, I love math, but I don't think I love math to that extent. In that kind of a situation, it's a good idea to change, and you can actually move into the area of management or finance and management, or financial management. So which gives you a little bit of a balance between math and management. But if you're really fond of numbers, then you can go into something like actuarial finance, or maybe you can go into risk management. You can go into strategic planning and investment, portfolio management, corporate finance, or even go into financial engineering. So what is financial engineering? Basically, it is providing innovative solutions for pricing, hedging, trading, and portfolio management problems. Yeah, you can even think about going in for masters in statistics and operational research. So as you can see, that whether it's business, or whether it's marketing, or whether it's finance, or whether it is HR, or maybe operations, every area has a scope of the future. But if you feel you can integrate with analytics, then that is the best way forward. But if you do not like that and you're a people's person, as I mentioned, there's several courses that you can think about going after studying these courses, such as business, marketing, economics, and mathematics. I hope I was able to help answer your question. So do we have another question coming up? Or actually, I wanted to also talk about a few emerging areas. So does anyone have any other questions before I move forward?
Ma'am, I've written my question in the chat box.
Sorry?
I've written my question in the chat box.
Okay, just hold on. Just give me a minute. Could you just repeat the question, please? The question is, you're doing a majoring in mathematics and you want to pursue management after graduating. Can you tell me something about MSc in consulting, as I find it interesting? See, before you move into the area of consultancy, you're a mathematics undergrad student. It's a good idea to go and first study management, get an overview of the various functions of management, which could be in the area of finance or marketing or supply chain, logistics, whatever it is. Then based on that, you can join a consultancy firm and take yourself forward. But please understand that when you move into the master's, it's not something that you're going to go into a senior level position, but you will have to start from ground up. Yeah. I also want to, since you asked me this question, I just wanted to talk to you all about a little bit about what is trending. Yeah. And she talked about mathematics, and I would like to mention something like virtual currency. Everyone's hearing about the future of what is the future of cryptocurrency or blockchain and things like that, as well as metaverse. Now, when we see how are things moving forward, there's this huge movement happening towards the digital side, towards the technology side. So it's a good idea to equip ourselves with technology. I think that's a good way to move forward. I want to talk to you about metaverse. Now, how many of you all must have heard about metaverse, right? So what is metaverse? So metaverse is basically, it is using augmented reality with virtual reality, yeah? It is like creating a presence in the real world by using these two softwares. So it's actually anyone who's done gaming, I don't know, I'm sure during the COVID time, you all must have been really involved in gaming and spending a lot of time in it. So what happens in gaming? You are creating a virtual space. You're working, you're playing in a virtual space, right? So this metaverse, it uses these flamboyant graphics and VR and AR, and it is very similar to the real world, right? Nowadays, what is happening is that virtual universities are coming up. Like there's one which has come up in Mumbai that is using metaverse. It's called Metaversity. It's not university, it's called Metaversity, which is using a virtual learning, not like your online classes. No, it's like using a virtual learning to conduct MBA programs. So you can actually study MBA through a virtual classroom sitting in the comfort of your own home. And you can visit Spatial, this is a website, to sample this virtual experience. So what are we looking at? We are thinking about sitting in GMC and actually using metaverse or virtual reality to be shopping at Saks Fifth Avenue or Bloomingdale's in New York City. So you can, through metaverse or virtual reality, you can be actually going through the rows and rows of garments or going through the different levels of the departmental store and seeing the merchandise as if you could be standing there. The only difference is, of course, you cannot touch and you cannot feel. But yes, it gives you the closest experience to a real world. So when we talk about this, and this COVID has taught us all to be studying online, which I think is the worst thing that can happen to anyone. But this virtual learning is very different to your online classes. You actually feel that you are sitting in a classroom and going through this entire college experience. So that is the difference between metaverse and doing an online class. I'm just giving an example. So what does metaverse do? You can, those who are doing programming, who are computer experts, web development, gamers, even blockchain developers, anyone who's done animation, graphics, etc., can think about going into this particular program. And those who graduate from this program actually can go into metaverse, storytelling, planning, ad blocking experts, and even become an NFT strategist. So your next question could be, where can I study metaverse? So you can look into schools like, I think NTU, National Technological University in Singapore is offering that, University of South Korea, as well as UCL in London. You can also have a look at Stanford. I'm not sure about it, but they have a course which is called Communication, Virtual People, and it's a class on the emerging trends of this virtual reality. And it actually focuses on the different areas that virtual realities can be of use. So it's a good thing you can do that. You can think about metaverse if you're coming from a programming or a technology background and you enjoy gaming, I would say that. The next one is, of course, blockchain. We've all heard about blockchain, and we've heard about Bitcoin. This is a cryptocurrency, and many more virtual currencies like Polkadot have recently emerged in the market. But is it legal in India? It is centralized in India. It is planning, but it's not yet, I think, very legal in India. So if you're thinking of wanting to study this virtual currency and want to stay somewhere, then it should be outside India, because there are several rules, regulations, and policies by the government where virtual currency in India is concerned. And I think it has been endorsed the same by RBI. Okay, so again, where can you study this? You can study this in NUS, you can study this in NTU, Cornell University, as well as in MIT. And there are many more universities which are teaching the same. Some could be British Columbia, NYU, Carnegie Mellon, Warwick, as well as Columbia, and there are many, many more of these schools. So this is what I wanted to talk about, is the emerging courses, talking about technology, business, traditional courses to be integrated with as much as technology as possible. Then, of course, if you do not have the hang of it, go for the tradition, go for something that you really enjoy and you are passionate about and you want to make a career in. Thank you. Can we move on to the next question? Ask me this question, is it really worth spending money in the master's program? I agree with you, I mean, if the purpose of doing masters is not there, there's no need to spend any money in doing a master's. Only when you feel what you've studied in your undergraduate level and you feel that there is a need to up your skills and knowledge, that's the time you need to go and do your master's, When you have been able to identify what is your particular area of specialization or what you would like to do in where your future career goals are concerned, or if you want to change your stream, or if you want to, or you feel you want to master in any particular area, should you go for masters? Now, for instance, let me give you an example. Okay, you go into, you are working in an organization, right? And let's say you're coming from a marketing background and you've been asked or you've been exposed to working on Excel and data Excel and data, and you find that very, very interesting and you want to learn more about it because now you want to integrate that analytic aspect with the marketing. And in that case, you decide to go for a master's in marketing analytics. So you understand when the role of masters comes in your life, instead of just thinking of, jumping the wagon and boom, going for a master's, not understanding what you want to study, what your career goals are, how are you going to use this master to enhance yourself, both through knowledge or skills, And there are a lot of people who go and do their masters just because you feel all your friends are doing the masters, you should also do your masters, or you're tired of being in India and now you just want to step out, have some fun. The pandemic has really played havoc in your mental health and you just need a break. You don't have to go and do masters for that. You can go for a holiday or go for a short course, go for a 6-week summer course. But if you're thinking of doing a master's and spending that kind of money and time and resources, you need to be absolutely sure about what you want to do, or at least somewhat be sure about what you want to do. Just hold on, please. Right, so anyone has any other questions on this, or should I move on to the next question?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question. Ma'am, I would like to know when is the right time to apply, with or without work experience?
I just said that the right time to apply is when you know what your interest is and how doing this master's will help you to develop the relevant skills and knowledge. That is the right time to apply. For instance, look at me. I could be working on the computer, but now I want to learn advanced Excel. I want to get an understanding maybe about social media. I want to learn how I can use social media or digital media to promote myself, but I do not have that relevant knowledge. So what do? I go and study a master's, which will help me in my work, or which will help me to enhance myself where my career goals are concerned, right? Thank you.
I had a question.
Yes.
Ma'am, is it better to pursue masters from India or to go abroad and study?
Yeah, sorry, could you repeat that question?
Ma'am, I was asking if it's better to stay in India and pursue masters, or is it good that if we go abroad and then pursue?
Who asked? Gopal, you asked this question?
Yes.
Gopal, I want to ask you, why do you want to go overseas?
Ma'am, I don't know, because I feel that I'm not that aware of the options that are there in India. And I feel that maybe if I go out, I'll get more exposure and it'll be better for me. Because if I go to HEC Paris, or because I want to do masters in marketing. So I'm just looking for options right now.
So your question is, should I do a master's in India or should I do a master's overseas? Very good question. It's not that in our country, we do not have very good universities that are offering the same courses. Of course we do. We have some fantastic private schools that are teaching you the state-of-art learning in whichever course that you want to study. But the whole purpose of going overseas can be due to various factors. The first is, you want that international experience. You want to engage with people from diverse backgrounds and learning to basically enhance yourself above the Indian mindset or Indian way of working, and get a global exposure. Number 3 is also that you're looking at getting some kind of a work experience in a global or international environment, right? So these are some of the 3 things that you want to go for, where learning and the way the teaching, pedagogy, or deliverables are done overseas depends upon which university, again, India you're studying, because they do that too, or in the masters, what is their curriculum all about? Gopal, you must study the curriculum before you go to any university. You have to read that what they are teaching is actually sinking in with what you would like to study, something that is not available in your own home country. Then it makes sense to go abroad. There are a lot of people who go overseas and want to do their masters in that 1 year, which is actually almost 6 months, and spend that kind of money and they don't get a job. So the best way I would say is that if you get an opportunity to do a master's, which is more than 1 year, that would be a good way to move forward, because that would be in-depth learning. Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, who else has a question?
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I wanted to know what's the difference between an MBA and a master's, because I'm currently confused right now, and I would like to know the difference so that I can understand what I want to do.
Okay, that's a good idea. That's a very good question, what should I do? Okay, let's first understand, should I do an MBA or a master's? But before I move forward, I want you all to understand what is an MBA. In my opinion, an MBA is a master's in business administration. Means there is nothing beyond that degree. You've done it all, you've learned it all. You mastered business by integrating your practical with your theory knowledge, right? Now, when we talk about MBA, it's basically, it covers all the aspects of the business, which is accounting, finance, marketing, HR, sales, management, IT, and many more. So basically what it does, it imparts the students with that technical knowledge, managerial knowledge, as well as the leadership skills, which is required for you to move up the ladder from a middle level management position to maybe a top level management position. So an MBA is not done to get a job, but an MBA is done to enhance your role, your position in a corporate to a top level position. So MBA is also not again required just to move into the corporate world. You can also do an MBA when you want to start your own business, you want to be your own entrepreneur, and you want to learn that skills of leadership in order to do so. Masters, I've already explained. Masters is more like an area of specialization. For instance, I have done bachelor's in marketing, and now I want to do a master's in digital marketing. I want to top up my learning with an advanced learning, which will make me an expert in my field. So that is when you do a master's. While an MBA is actually an overall mastery of all the domains of the business skills. Yeah. Before you move into deciding whether I want to do a master or an MBA, it is so important for you to understand your career goals. Once you're able to understand your long-term and your short-term career goals, it will be much more easier for you to be able to understand whether you need to do your master's or to do an MBA. Yeah. Masters offers specializations, as I mentioned, in various business fields. And even someone who is coming from an engineering background or a social science background or a liberal art background down to a design student can also do an MBA. Of course, when you're coming from a non-business background, I always prefer the students to get some kind of an overview through a pre-MBA program, which could be for 3 months, 6 months, learn it online, get an understanding of what is macroeconomics, financial accounting, etc., which makes the transition very smooth and easy when you go and study your MBA, right? MBA, of course, as you know, they have a lot of other areas of specialization, but the new MBA which has come up, which is very interesting, apart from something like studying finance or marketing and HR, operations, etc., there is a STEM MBA. So STEM MBA, what does STEM MBA mean? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics related MBA. So you're studying business management with specializations in technology. And when we talk about technology, the biggest technology which we are talking about here is data sciences and data analytics. So anytime you hear the word analytics, which is combined with the area of business or an MBA, it becomes a STEM MBA. Now, also when, when we talk about an MBA, an MBA apart from India where work experience is really not required. And I look at it as an extension of your undergraduate education because there's a lot of theory involved, unlike practical learning and case studies overseas in an MBA program. If you have to make a decision in India and you're moving towards a business course, it's better to do an MBA than a master's. But if you're going overseas and you're thinking of doing an MBA, I think, and I'm sure about it, that you must have an average of at least 3 years of work experience before even starting with your MBA application, because the average work experience of an MBA candidate is about 5 years. And you must understand that when a teacher or a professor is conducting an MBA class, he is with that assumption that you already have that practical experience and you have developed certain skill sets which is required for you to perform in an MBA class. So the way he teaches will be as if you know all these basic knowledge, you have this basic knowledge and skills. So that's the difference between having an MBA in India and having an MBA overseas. If you want to do an master's, anything related with business, do an MBA in India if that is what your plans are. But if you feel you want to do an MBA overseas, I must tell you that you must get important, relevant work experiences where you develop your strong team spirit, leadership skills, interpersonal communication skills, analytical, logical reasoning skills, become a problem solver, and then think about going for an MBA. Now, someone will ask me, if I'm doing all this here, why do I need to go and do an MBA? That's a good question. You need to do an MBA. MBA is like putting an icing on the cake. The cake is already baked. You're just topping it up. And most importantly, an MBA is also used for networking. And that is why it is important to choose the right B school for yourself. Okay. So as I said, I've already explained to you the difference between an MBA and a master's. Do you have any, I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Anyone has any other question? Someone asked me a question. I don't know where it was, maybe in the chat box or where. It asked me this question that, is a master's course better than an MBA? Is an MBA better than a master's? So I'm just going to repeat the same thing. Again, I emphasize, it all depends upon the career path that you wish to follow. So if you're interested to go into managerial roles early in your life, in your career, go for an MBA. MBA will also enable you to get those functional roles such as areas of marketing, HR, and so on early in your career. But if you want to specialize in one particular role or a domain, then you must consider a master's. And you only do a master's when you have an idea as to what you want to study, where that gap is, through your interaction with relevant people in the industry or doing some online courses or reading. Make that informed decision before moving forward in the field of masters. Thank you. Anyone has any other questions? Okay, so I'm going to quickly now, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little late here. I'm going to introduce you to my panelists. And so can we have the screen on the panelists, please? Great, thank you. So we have a panelist here. These panelists are very eminent, prominent students of mine who have gone through this grind, exactly what we've talked about, and are now going to talk about their own personal experiences as to what made them choose the masters. When did they choose it? And most importantly, how did they prepare themselves? How did they build their profile to prepare themselves for the master's program? So let's start with Sneha. Sneha, are we there? Do we have you there, please? Can you close this screen and we can have Sneha on board?
Hi, good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi, Sneha.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you close this screen, please? Or okay, fine, you can have it on. Sneha, I'd like to ask you this question. When did you think about going for your master's?
I initially didn't have any plans. I was just during my first year, I was like, what am I supposed to do next?
Sorry, just a minute. I would like to introduce you. Can you just introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sneha Jain. I'm an alumni of GMC. I was pursuing BCom honors, and I'm the batch of 2021. So I recently graduated, and that's about my introduction. So I'd like to answer your question now, ma'am.
Yes. So where are you planning to go and study your master's?
So I was confused between the UK and the US, and eventually I ended up choosing US because of my needs and wants. And I'm doing my master's in business analytics at Babson College, which is in Boston.
And what has been your background, Sneha?
So what
has been your academic background?
Yeah, so 11th, 12th, I did commerce with maths, and then at GMC, I did BCom honors. So that consisted of accounting, finance, marketing, HR, management, and everything. So it's nothing related to what I'm doing right now. A little bit of business is there, but the coding and everything, the other part of analytics, I was made familiar with that when I entered EdNet.
Okay, great. So where did you feel, when did you decide on what you want to study and how did you develop your skills for the same?
Sure. So during my first year, I was bemused as I didn't know what next was there on the plate, because there were a lot of options in commerce to choose from, like HR, business, like I stated before. So I ended up at EdNet during my first year, and I came familiar with the whole procedure of profile building. So I started my whole journey by giving an introduction to Niharika ma'am, and that's when she asked me to do a hit and trial with courses and internships. So for the 2 years, I did my internships in different fields like marketing analytics, data analytics, supply chain management, along with courses like coding, graphic designing, marketing. So that's when I made up my mind that I have an incline towards coding. And that's when I told ma'am also that, I like coding. That's when you suggested that, you should definitely pursue something related to analytics or data science. That's when I made up my mind for master's.
So this last 1 year, you've had a gap, right? You've had, you graduated in 2021 and 22, now you're leaving in 22. How do you think this work experience has also helped you to develop your intentions for the study or what you're planning to go there and study?
Yeah. So I took a gap year. I actually got into Babson in 2021 itself, but I deferred myself because I wanted to explore more opportunities in the same field. So I'm working with Nestle as of now as an analyst itself. So I'm doing credit analysis and data analysis for accounting. So that's really helped me have a clear mind. And after studying the curriculum at Babson also, so I really am clear with the path that I've chosen, because I feel a lot more confident and motivated and enthusiastic at the same time that, I'm at the right path, doing the right things. And that's what I like. So that's what I like.
So from the time you graduated from GMC to the time you're leaving right now in 2023, how do you think you've grown and evolved as a person ready to take over the master's program at Babson?
So as a person, I feel a lot more, enthusiastic, motivated, and, I've gained a lot of confidence as I know a lot that, what I'm getting into basically. So, and the leadership skills that I've had and enriched my knowledge for the same has actually made me a lot more confident.
Great, that's fantastic. So girls here, GMC is a women's university, girls' university. We talk about empowerment, women empowerment, taking ourselves forward in every area, every directions, which used to be considered once upon a time a male's domain, is now being entered and breaking all glass ceilings by such strong achievers such as Sneha. And now we move on to, thank you so much, Sneha.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Sneha? Great. Thank you so much, Sneha, for sharing your experience. I would now like to move on to Neeti. Neeti Oberoi is also, again, a student of GMC. Thank you so much, Neeti, for joining us here today. I really appreciate your time and effort, and I'm sure all these GMC students must be excited to hear the journey from their alums, So let's start with you. Let's start about the time when you graduated and how has been your academic journey so far?
Hi, ma'am. Actually, it's extremely nice to be a part of this webinar and to be speaking to students of GMC. I loved my college and I couldn't be happier to be addressing you all. And to be doing this with EdNet, who actually supported me since the time I've left college. It honestly feels like a complete circle before I actually end up going for my master's. So thank you for the opportunity. And talking a bit about myself, so I graduated from JMC in 2020 and I did a bachelor's in commerce, that was BCom honors, and I also had a minor in economics. Post that, I got work experience at EY. I was working there in business consulting domain as a risk analyst. And now I'm currently working in ZS Associates as a business operations associate. So if you just put the dots together, something such as business operations is not exactly something that is followed up with business consulting and risk analysis. And that is because business operations is tech oriented. And the reason I'm currently in this job or I'm, further propelled in this direction or this field actually is credited to EdNet. Once I was in my third year and I got placed at EY, I was wondering whether this is the correct direction for me to further go into. And I was asked as to what is it that I am intrigued by. And honestly, as a third year student, you're not very sure of what is next for you or what is it that you're completely certain and determined to further pursue. So just like Sneha, I was also advised to take up some courses and further understand what I like. And even though I did a little bit of understanding of finance and I also did a short CFA course, I later on realized that my actual calling lies with analytics. And after graduating in BCom honors, I am now actually going for Masters in Business Analytics at Northeastern University, Boston. So it's been quite a shift, and this entire period of graduating in 2020 to actually going in 2022 for my master's in business analytics, which has a lot of technical aspects involved in it and a lot of logical reasoning, quantitative skills which are required, combined with the interpersonal skills that JMC as well as my work experiences have got me. I feel the entire journey was only possible because of the support and the constant direction and at times even hand-holding that I got from the EdNet team. So thanks a lot, ma'am, for actually all of that support.
Thank you so much, Nidhi. That's being very humble. But I have to say that, it's just not a one-way movement. You have been a fantastic student with EdNet. You have worked in close collaboration, understanding what was required for you to introspect and find your true calling, right? So it's just, I could be saying as much as possible to you, but at the end of the day, you're the one who walked the talk.
Yes.
So having said that, I understand when you say that, what you think of. So when you left GMC, you were thinking of something else. You were thinking of doing another course or a program in business. And now you're doing something different. So through your experience, what do you think? Do you think that work experience is required to do a master's?
So in my situation, when you're currently confused at the time of graduation, and this is also the time in third year when you're getting placed, that generally happens about between August to October. The same time, November onwards, everybody is applying abroad. So, mostly the mindset is specifically in JMC and BCom honors that I can speak personally of. The moment you get placed, everybody in November starts thinking of applying. And everybody is applying for traditional courses. Either you're taking the CAT or you've already taken your GMAT and you're making your application for MIM or MS Finance. And most of the students, just like how I was, are not exactly sure of what that curriculum is. And after doing that master's, what lies next? Or how is that master's actually going to help you enter into the industry that you wish to? And when these questions actually came up during my first interaction with you, ma'am, at EdNet, I actually introspected once I went home as to why am I even doing a master's right now? And what is it that I wish to achieve out of that master's? And at that time, I realized that probably going for a business degree or another finance or marketing degree right now would not be the best career choice for me, even though I had done internships in both finance and marketing. And I was not particularly intrigued by both. And then later on, during my work experience at EY, combined with the courses that I was taking and the guidance that I received, I later on realized that my real calling actually lies in the tech world, and I couldn't be happier going for analytics.
So the best part is that Neeti is going for a course. She's confident about what she's going for. She's sure about her future goals. She knows what her next steps are, and she knows that this is the first launch or jumpstart to her career. So thank you so much, Neeti. I think that was so informative. Being a student like Sneha had 1 year work experience. You had almost 2 years work experience. So someone would say that, hey, if I'm having 2 years work experience, why should I go for a master's? Why can't I go for an MBA? Again, there's a huge difference between an MBA and a master's. So in the master's, she is moving from a traditional business program to something new, that is business analytics. And for her to get her first entry into the field of business analytics, she needs to have that knowledge and that information and that expertise. And that is why she's going for her master's and not for her MBA.
Correct.
Right? So thank you so much, Neeti, for talking to us about your journey. You were so explicit, so expressive, and so informative. I'm sure all your students here, must have really taken a lot of inspiration from Sneha and Neeti here. Thank you so much, Neeti. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You girls have any questions for Sneha and Neeti? You can put it in the chat. We can look at it. Go, Neeti. Yes. Nice. Do you all have any other questions? Okay, great. So thank you so much, Neeti. We have Archel here, who's Archel. Is Archel here? Archel Bharadwaj. She's a student. Hi, Archel.
Yes, hi, ma'am. Hello, everyone.
Hi, that's Archel. So Archel, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. So my name is Archel Bharadwaj, and I'm currently pursuing my LLB, which is a 5-year integrated course at Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University. It is a BA and LLB integration, hence it's 5 years course. And I am also planning to pursue my master's from London, a university which I actually dreamed of, LSE, London School of Economics and Political Science, in international law.
That's fantastic, Archer. So you are one person who is going straight for her LLM without any work experience, unlike Sneha and Neeti, who've got at least a minimum of a year's work experience. So can you talk to me about how did you build your profile? How did you start? How did you move forward? And how did you use your time to find your area of interest? Because even in LLM, there's so many areas of specialization, international business, arbitration, international law, litigation, intellectual property rights, etc. So how did you know about what you really want to do in LLM, not waste even 1 minute straight after your LLB, go for your LLM. Can you just talk to all the students here and let them know what are the steps that you took to make yourself sure about what you're doing?
Right. So actually, I didn't waste any time in making my mind that I really want to do masters or not. I was sure of it. I think even before I entered my bachelor's, I was sure I'll be doing masters. However, the question was, in which field should I specialize? I mean, obviously, people go for general masters as well, which is a good option if you're not sure and you think there is something lacking. However, I wanted to specialize in something. It was a long process, and Niharika ma'am knows this. I was absolutely naive in the field. I did not know that LLM has so many specializations. I was like whiplashed as soon as I had this first meeting with Niharika ma'am, and she told me, okay, so what would you like to specialize in? So I was like, are there so many options out there? But anyway, then we had multiple meetings. I did a lot of R&D. I mean, I went on internet and I searched all the possible fields out there. What really worked for me was that I still had 2 years. However, pandemic was there to cause difficulties, but we had this plan. Me and Niharika ma'am came out with this plan that I'll be doing internships, I'll be doing competitions, maybe even writing for some publications. And what this did for me was, again, a trial and error method. I did enter into various fields and then I eliminated the ones I was not interested in. That's how I understood what my interests are. And I finally landed on human rights. Initially, I was really into ADR, but then as I, talked to a few more seniors, I did a lot more research. I understood that it won't be the best thing for me to, as you know, the webinar is about jump starting your career. It won't be the best option to go for ADR at the moment. Then we came out with public international law, which touches both of my interests, which is ADR and human rights. Let me tell everyone here, it is a process, but it is not hard with the right guidance. And that is what I have learned in the process, that if you have somebody to show you the path, like Niharika ma'am did with me, like EdNet team helped me, it is much more easier to do that. And that also cut down my time wastage in really figuring out what to do. Again, talking about the work experience, yes, officially I have not, taken the time to do that, but I have done internship, a cumulative 1 year of internship in my 5-year degree. And I think working with different organizations each year helped me with the process as well, because now I have, experience in various fields. I worked with corporates, I've worked in litigation, I worked under a judge. So I know what the field is really about, which helped me the most.
So that's fantastic, Archel. So coming down to this, it was your work experience, exposure in the relevant industry, which really made you decide on which specialization of law you want to study. So coming back, that exposure is absolutely necessary. We all know that because of the pandemic, a lot of students did not get any internship. There was no physical interaction, and a lot of people were doing it online, but it was not the same. And I'm sure many students did not even think about moving forward into the areas of internships. But now that you have the chance, now that it's not so bad out there and this, the companies are opening up, it's a good idea to get as much as learning, practical learning, because only when you go through this practical learning or engaging with people who are in the same area of your interest, talking to people who are coming from the background which you want to venture into, is a very, very good idea before you think about doing your master's. As Archel said rightfully, that she went into publications, attending conferences, national conferences, international conferences, learning about her subject. As she said, discarding things which she did not enjoy, holding on to areas which she found fascinating, interesting, working on research on areas which she found interesting. Again, when you go into research and when you delve deep into a particular area, that's the time you also come to know whether you want to take this forward or not. It's understanding for oneself. You know, there are a lot of students who come to me and say, Niharika ma'am, or the parents say, Niharika ma'am, you tell us what she should study. Kaun sa acha course hai? So when someone comes and tells me kaun sa acha course hai, I have no words. I don't know what to say because sab course achhe hain. The question is, what do you like? And what do you find fascinating and interesting enough for you to invest your time, money, and resources to take it forward with a master's program, right? So thank you so much, Aanchal, for sharing with us. And I really, really wish you the best in the future as you move forward to LSC. She got into UCL also, and I was like, till yesterday, I was under the impression she is going to UCL, but she has chosen LSE, and LSE is a fantastic school, as good as UCL. So even when you get in, making that right decision as to which university would be the best fit for you is important. And when do you do that? When you study the curriculum in detail and understand that, is this exactly what you want to study? It's not the name and the brand or the ranking. It is the curriculum that you study, which should be the first most important thing for you, right? Thank you so much, Aanchal, for sharing your experience. Now I would like to move on to Kanak. Is Kanak here?
Hi, ma'am. Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Kanak. So Kanak, again, I would like to thank you. And you're here among these fantastic, young, brilliant minds of GMC. And I have interacted with so many students from GMC, and I find them to be superlative. So congratulations, GMC. I remember the time when I was there, and I'm sure you all have just become better and better and more better from my time. So Kanak is going to introduce herself. So Kanak, would you want to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah. So hi everyone, I'm Kanak Nagar. I did my undergraduation at King's College London, and I also graduated last year in 2021. Now I'm going to be joining LSE as well for the Masters in Management program in September this year. So the reason why I chose this course is because I wanted to get into the field of consulting. And I think it's a popular choice for those who want to, pursue consulting. And
can you be a little louder and clearer, please? Because, yeah, thank you.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So yeah, definitely, I think it's a good option for those interested in consulting. And also because I think with a degree like management, there's a lot of flexibility. So like ma'am said, you get to study a wide range of subjects from finance to marketing. And later on also in your career, like if you want to pivot to another role, then you can always do that with a degree like management. And I think also it's not a substitute to an MBA. So I think a lot of people think, a master's is a substitute to an MBA, but you can always get a couple of years of work experience and maybe do something like an executive MBA if you feel that will really help your profile. And I think something that based on my experience, I would like to say is that, yes, I think work experience, like I've got less than a year of work experience, but whatever internships I've done, whatever pieces of experience I've got, I think they've been really helpful. Like I would recommend that to everybody here. Because I think it really, like, either it will help you decide what you really don't want to do, or what you want to do, and it will just give you like a good idea of what like work life is like, because it's very different studying something in college and then actually working in that field could be a different type of experience. So definitely any internships or any experience you can get before masters would be great. And I think lastly, I would like to say like the EdNet team is amazing, and what I like about EdNet especially is that they really allow you to explore all your options. So they're not fixated on test scores or your previous background, which is something I liked. And especially like after 12th, you get thrown into your undergrad, and then I feel like it's really important to do what you like in your masters, because this is your time to shine, and you absolutely need to explore all your options, and not worry so much about other factors, because the EdNet team, they will help you with your essays and your profile building. You really just need to focus on what you want to do.
I think here I would like to mention one thing, this is the difference between United States and United Kingdom's way of reviewing the applications. So when a person is switching streams from non-tech to technology in the UK, they're looking at for them, doing your online courses and everything else is there, but they have this disbelief kind of an attitude, which is very different from the United States, where whatever you say you have done, could be online, could be an interaction with someone, they believe what you have done, and they hold on to your experiences as a matter of something that a learning that you have acquired through your hands-on learning. But in UK, when you are moving from doing a transition, especially from A to B, which is directly not related to your undergraduate learning, please understand that you have to work much, much more on your profile and your formal academic learning instead of online learning to actually get into that line or that stream in the UK university. Am I right, Kanat?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that factor is there, because I was also considering, analytics, and it is not impossible. Definitely, it's possible to transition. You just need to either back it up through work experience, like a couple of years of experience, or
couple of years of experience, especially when you're doing that, since you're moving into analytics, which should also be supported with academic learning.
Yeah, definitely, or like a course in mathematics or technology, definitely.
So that's fantastic, Kanat. Thank you so much. I mean, we've had our 5 panelists talk about their different experiences, the challenges that they went through when they were choosing the courses that they wanted to study. And I'd like to thank Kanak, I'd like to thank Anchal, Neeti, and of course, Sneha. Roshni was not able to be with us today because of the time difference with the US. I just want to wrap up with a few things which I would like to address is that I'm sure you all must be wanting to know which part of the world is the best place for you to move forward to. Let's do a quick run through of all the different countries which are there all over the world, and what are your opportunities to go there, to stay there, to study there, as well as get some kind of a work experience before you either continue staying there or you come back to India, right? So in that kind of a situation, let's go through Canada. Everyone is rushing to Canada, but what does Canada have to offer you? If you are coming from Delhi University, please keep your grades up really high. Keep it above 70% because that is important if you're applying to a Canadian school, because for Canada, 16 years of education is important. Go for the degree. Try to avoid going for a diploma. If you go for a diploma, try to go for a 2-year diploma so that you can stay there for 3 years, get enough of experience, and then apply for your PR, right? When it comes to the United States, you do get a 12-month OPT, but if you do anything which is related with technology, like these girls are going for analytics, and now it has become STEM, they're allowed to apply for H1 3 times. That means they can stay there for 36 months. Without an H1 visa. So that is something that you can think about when going to the United States. If you go for a non-STEM program, then it will be a 12-month OPT. The next country is United Kingdom, which has just come up, I think in 2020 or 21, where you can now stay in UK for 2 years and look for a job and work. So that is also something that you can look into. It is important wherever you go. Like I'm 100% confident that Kanak is going for Masters in Management with a background from King's will definitely get very, very good options in the areas of consultancy. And Kanak, you can come back to me and tell me about that. You will get 2 years of work experience there. And in that 2 years of work experience, you can either continue depending upon which company hires you or come back to India. Coming to Australia, you must study there for at least 2 years for you to be able to work there for 2 years. And Singapore, you get 90 days to look for a job. If you do not get a job, you have to come back. Networking is very, very important, girls. So when you go to any of the countries outside your home country, it is important to do networking, get internship opportunity, get as much as industry exposure and experiences there for you to land up with a full-time job. That's what I wanted to conclude with. And I'm sure, no, as 16 years of education is not a requirement, is not a mandatory requirement for a master's in the United States. Please understand one thing. Any student who's coming from Delhi University, JMC, above 65%, 70% is considered to be 4 years undergraduate qualification, is considered to be a 4-year undergraduate qualification by WES, which is the evaluating agency in the United States that evaluates all foreign qualifications and makes them equivalent to the US degree. Mahika, have I answered your question? You can apply to the United States with a 15-year of education, but my suggestion is do not apply to the US right away while you're in your 3rd year, because your only 2 years transcripts are going to go, which will really not equate you to be a master's level student. So I would prefer students who have done their undergraduate from Delhi University, though they may not have the 16-year education, can stay behind, do 1 year of learning here in India or have 1 year of work experience in India if you're coming from Delhi University. Again, I repeat, which will equate you to be a 4-year undergraduate in the US. Suppose you apply to NYU and they want a WES evaluation. That WES evaluation will show that your 3 years is equivalent to 4 years only if you get above 65% to 70% in your academics during your college years. Any other questions? Okay, we're coming out of time and it's exactly going to be 4 o'clock. I thank you all for being here, Kopal, for giving me this opportunity to address these amazing students here at JMC. If you have any further questions and if you want to get in touch with EdNet, please do send in your queries, call up the office, and I will be more than happy to connect with you.
Ma'am, we have a question from a student.
Yes, of course. Can you just close the screen, please? Yeah, sure. Okay, great. So where's the question? I didn't see the question. I hope this was an informative session and you all did benefit, not just from me, but my eminent panelists who took out their time from their work to be here with you all and address all your issues, concerns, and the challenges which a student faces when thinking about their masters.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, Mahika.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for answering my query. So basically, I'm also planning to, gain a year of work experience and then apply for fall 2023 intake. So
perfect. That's the right way to go and get your WES done if you're planning to do the US.
Yes, ma'am. So, but like I've seen on, the sites of universities like UC Berkeley, UCLA.
No, it's personal. So you can, if it's not a general question and it's something personal, yes, it's a good idea to get in touch with the office and I'll be more than happy to answer all your queries. Yeah.
Oh, ma'am. Thank you so much. All right.
You're welcome. Okay. I hope this was informative and you all enjoyed this webinar. Please raise your hand And maybe if someone can switch on all their videos, I would love to see these lovely faces in the afternoon. Yes? Oh, thank you all so much for switching on your video. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. Dana, can someone close the screen, please? Thank you. Everyone wants to put on their video and switch on the video so I can see your faces. I think GMC has really moved forward a lot since 1983 when I graduated. This is the place of power where young minds and change makers are concerned. Am I right, Kopal? Great. Thank you all so much, and I look forward to seeing you all next year. I mean, if you are the younger years. And if not, I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you.